Hi everybody, this is Brian Koo with another ROK video. Right now you're looking at us build a thin flag right in between two enemy headquarters, essentially. The enemies have a lot of cities teleported on both sides of us. They've been defending the two flags that we're looking at here for probably about an hour or two at this point. And what we are looking at today and what we are talking about is the way in which you use flag building as an offensive technique to achieve your goals. And our goal at this point in the KvK is that we are trying to take control of Zone 6 and we are trying to get to the level 5 passes of the enemy as quickly as we can. I don't think anyone at this point really thought about the importance of getting to the passes, surprisingly quick before the enemy could even expect it. But in retrospect, it sure is nice to catch the enemy off guard in a zone that they didn't think they would have to defend so quickly. And, essentially all we did here was we placed a flag, and an enemy that had been on the defensive for the previous hour all of a sudden has to go on the offense. And that requires a few things. That requires a strong rally, and it requires some degree of open field control so you can reinforce that rally. And you can see that the enemy does not have any open field control. They were not getting any reinforcements on this rally, and we were even able to swarm it down since it got so freaking low due to lack of reinforcements. You're seeing also a very good trade there for the Amanitore. And so let's not bury the Amanitore Artemisia Garrison in the graveyard of dead marches just yet. It's still able to defend pretty well, especially when everything else is in your favor. But you're seeing that we just keep flagging. We keep stretching things out. We keep making the old flags that the enemy has worked so hard to defend irrelevant because we simply go right past them. We go right past them, heading towards our objective, and the enemy is sort of flat-footed, focusing on things that don't matter that much anymore. And I'm not going to pretend that it's only the enemy that is flat-footed here. We are also still very focused on these old battles, on these old spots on the map that we've been working hard to burn. You see us actually exile a city there to move it out of its perfect sort of defensive place for people to hop through and reinforce the flag. That's kind of an interesting tactic. I didn't even notice that until watching this video, but I guess I'd be curious to know how often you can exile, how often you can use the exile skill, because yeah, it actually is quite useful. We get to swarm down on this flag. I think at this point 201 was either worn down, or maybe they were starting to realize the same things that we were realizing, which was that, that flag wasn't really that important anymore. Or maybe the most likely explanation is that 201's focus had changed. They had to go on the offensive and deal with these new flags that we were putting up that was giving us access to a green, unprotected part of the zone outside of the reach of their well-defended flags. You see they try to rally this new flag that we're building, but this XY Nevsky rally has no chance of succeeding. And you'll also see them continue to try and rally down this thin flag that we have garrisoned by a Jadwiga YSS. At the same time, we're still up north. We're still seeing fights from 651. 651 was very active. They were surprisingly active. They were surprisingly willing to engage us in the open field. And, for many of us at this point, including myself, the bigger picture of this zone had not yet been made clear, and we just wanted to fight. There's like a natural inertia that takes place where, because this is a war game and because we've spent so much time building up our accounts, gathering resources, and preparing for war, that when there's a war right in front of us, we have to take that fight. Even if the more relevant things are happening in these quieter parts of the map where one enemy who's paying attention is able to get an even Steven swarm on a flag we just finished. They're able to get a burn. It's not a huge accomplishment for them. Nothing comes of it, but that's where the really good trade was at that point. And yet both our team and 651, for the most part, was still very focused on the battles to the north that were becoming less and less important. And this is one of the differences between our R5, Adinavo, and myself as leaders that sort of became apparent during this KvK, which is that Addy is very focused on what's next, whereas I'm much more focused on what's right in front of me. And so I was trying to organize an assault on this 651 flag. We had not been able to burn it yet. This was probably our second attempt at a rally on it. I think the first one did not go well, just for a couple of weird reasons, like the rally leader got distracted by something. But we're trying to take some open field control here and prepare for the rally that's incoming. Our rally leader does have a Attila Nevsky and he's in a different alliance than we're in. And so we're not concerned here about getting hit by AoE under the flag or anything. But at the same time, we certainly would like to have better control of this field than we do right now. And you can see my own march is sort of forcing the issue here. And then because of where my city is teleported, even when I try to retreat, it's just super awkward for me and doesn't go well. But the rally's coming in, and you're going to see what it is to attack an entrenched position where the enemy has had a couple hours now to bring alt marches into the flag. They can bring alt marches into nearby cities to keep this thing filled up, whereas we on the offense have not really even set up a proper ball in order to reinforce this rally. This was also right after Lilith added the feature where you can retreat from a rally through the brown arrow marker right on this screen, which is a really nice feature, but it actually gave us problems reinforcing this rally early on. And so there was like a really big dip in the rally right at the start. And that certainly doesn't make the trade any better either. But this rally is, it is what it is. We're not keeping it full. The flag is completely full. And it ends up being a very bad trade for us. And, we're fighting a 2 versus 6 KvK here. We cannot win a 2 versus 6 KvK with trades like that. It's a given that we'll have to trade well throughout this KvK, but even that is not enough to win a 2 versus 6. No matter how good our trades are, the enemy will always have more troops, more resources, and more speed ups than we do. In order to win this KvK, we need to take an objective-based strategy that focuses on taking large parts of the map over. If we take parts of the map over one at a time, we can focus our efforts on 1 or 2 kingdoms at a time, and we can hold the key parts of the map that we need to have when we enter into Kingsland. There are 8 passes leading into Kingsland, 2 for each Zone 6. As long as we're able to secure this Zone 6, Batafo, our side is confident that we'll be able to have at least 4 of the 8 entrances into Kingsland, given that our allies 2206 are right next to us on the map, and so we do have one peaceful Zone 6, Dimbakro, at this point in the KvK. Beyond that, we want to invade the enemy's 2 safe Zone 6s and try to take out some of their entrances into Kingsland. That gives us a better chance of winning Kingsland, and once we've taken control of Kingsland, we have a very good chance of winning, because it is quite hard to get back into Kingsland after you have been pushed out. And so we were focused on invading and pressuring enemy territory and using that territorial control as a way to neutralize their troop advantage. With this next rally report, you can again see a really big dip in the reinforcements right at the start. I do think the game was a little bit bugged on this day in terms of being able to reinforce rallies at the start of it, and that explains a lot of this mediocre trade against the Xeno YSS. We certainly had better XY Nevsky rallies against Xeno YSS, and you'll actually see one of those in a few minutes. I think build strategy is super important in KvK, and it's something that's slept on by a lot of kingdoms. It sometimes gets put off to the last minute, and you're just looking for someone to volunteer to plan out the strategy. But if you look at what we were able to accomplish with our builds in this zone, where we flagged across the zone quickly, we didn't use any forts, and we even used flags in an offensive manner in order to bypass the enemy's best defenses. By comparison, the enemy built 5 pointless forts at the level 8 passes in a vain attempt to block us from getting into Kingsland, even though it would be more than a week before those passes opened. Imagine if a leader in one of those kingdoms had made the 200 IQ suggestion to put all those forts at their own level 5 passes inside Batafo. That would have blocked us from invading their zone 5. It would have forced us to burn down multiple forts that they could hunker down in and defend well. And it would have given them a lot of time to prepare for our invasion rather than being caught off guard in a couple of hours when we managed to break through. We're going to look at one more rally here, and I want to point out again that the rally leader is in a different alliance than all of the open field around the flag. This works out really well. This is a great strategy that more and more kingdoms are doing. It just makes it so easy to protect your ball, to fend off marches that are harassing your ball, and you'll even see me at one point effectively swarm down the enemy counter rally with no fear that I'm getting hit by an AoE. That's it for this video. Thanks for sticking with me until the very end. Much appreciated. You can see on the map that we are just a few flags away from reaching the first level 5 pass. And in the next video, you will see us break through that pass and wreak havoc on the other side. There are a lot of 2201 cities that are off territory and are not ready for what's coming for them. So please tune in for that one. Throw a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe. And I will see you all on the flip side.